Hello and welcome. We're about to jump into an idea that is so fascinating. It might just completely change how you think about intelligence, what it means to be a kid, and maybe even the entire future of AI.
So let me just start by asking you a really simple question. Are you smarter than a 4-year-old? I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, right? Of course you are. We have this picture in our heads of intelligence as this one single ladder. Down at the bottom, you've got this messy, easily distracted kid. And way up at the top, that's where you find the focused, efficient 35-year-old professional. And we just assume that the whole point of life is to climb that ladder. But what if that entire picture is just wrong? According to developmental psychologist Alison Gopnik, humans don't have just one type of intelligence. No, we actually have multiple, totally distinct intelligences, and each one is perfectly designed for a different stage of our lives. Okay, so let's start with the first one, the incredible genius of a child's mind. Now, this isn't just some incomplete version of an adult brain. A much better way to think about it is like evolution's very own dedicated research and development department. It's a phase of life designed for one thing and one thing only: pure discovery. To really get this, we need to borrow a cool idea from computer science. It's called the explore/exploit trade-off. So imagine you're in a huge park and you're looking for the absolute best spot for a picnic. You have two choices. You can exploit, which means you carefully check the grass right around you for a slightly better patch. Or you can explore, which means you just start running like a maniac all over the park to see if there's an amazing, undiscovered spot way on the other side. And this is where it gets really interesting. See, kids are the absolute masters of exploration. Their thinking is all over the place, it's broad, it's kind of random, what computer scientists would call a high-temperature search. And yeah, it's messy, but it's absolutely brilliant for finding brand new, totally unexpected solutions. Adults, on the other hand, we're masters of exploitation. We do that focused, low-temperature search that's perfect for getting a known plan done as efficiently as possible. So you see, one isn't better than the other, they're just built for totally different jobs. This quote from Alison Gopnik just hits the nail on the head. A child's chaotic, get-into-everything behavior, that's not just them making a mess. It's actually a super sophisticated form of research. They're running experiments with the same intensity as a scientist in a high-tech lab. So how do we know this is really happening? Well, let me introduce you to the Blicket detector. It's this simple box that lights up and plays music, but only when certain special objects, the Blickets, are placed on it. Researchers discovered that toddlers are unbelievably good at figuring out the complex rules of this machine just by watching. They were so into it, so eager to experiment, that the scientists said their biggest problem was just keeping the kids away from the thing. So what is driving this nonstop experimentation? It's definitely not the promise of a cookie or a treat. It's about this deep internal reward that computer scientists have a great name for: empowerment. Empowerment is that incredible, satisfying feeling you get when you discover that your actions can cause predictable effects in the world. It's that aha moment, the thrill of learning that when you do this, it makes that happen. Gopnik tells this perfect story about her grandson Kit playing with a toy xylophone. He doesn't just bang on it. First, he hits the bars with the mallet. Then he flips the mallet over and tries the wooden end. Then he tries patting the bars with his hand. See, he's not just playing randomly. He is systematically testing the relationship between every single one of his actions and the sounds they produce. He is literally building a causal map of the world, one tiny experiment at a time. Okay, so let's shift gears to the second, intelligence. Because if childhood is the R&D department, then adulthood, well, that's the production and marketing team. This is the age of exploitation, where we take all that amazing knowledge we discovered as kids and we apply it efficiently to get stuff done. Now, the huge strength of the adult mind is our incredible efficiency, but that is also our biggest weakness. Because we're so focused on the solutions we already know, we risk getting stuck in what's called a local optimum. Just imagine you've climbed a hill and you found a really nice view. You're efficient, right? So you stay there. What you don't realize is that there's a much, much taller mountain with an absolutely breathtaking view just across the valley. But to get there, you'd have to go downhill first, and to an efficient adult mind, that feels like going backward. Gopnik even playfully suggests that during our prime adult years, we're actually at our least unique as humans. We become laser-focused on all the classic primate stuff: figuring out social status, finding a mate, getting resources. And while the kids and the elders are off doing uniquely human things like discovering the world and passing on culture, The 35-year-olds are just busy keeping the lights on.
But here's the thing. Both of these intelligences, the child's wild exploration and the adult's focused exploitation, they both depend completely on a third, often invisible intelligence. And that is the intelligence of care.
You know, our long, helpless childhood, it seems like an evolutionary mistake, right? But it's not a bug, it's a feature. It creates this protected garden where a child is totally free from the pressures of survival. And inside that safe zone, they can pour all of their energy into learning. The caregivers, they're the gardeners. And there's this one experiment that shows just how critical this is. It's kind of shocking. So you put an adult rat in a maze that has a little electric shock in one arm. The adult learns fast and avoids that spot. But get this, a young juvenile rat will actually prefer to go explore the arm with the shock. Why? Because that reward of empowerment, of figuring out how the world works, is more powerful to them than the pain. But here's the absolute crucial part. They only take that risk when their mother is nearby. Her presence is the safety net that makes that high-risk, high-reward learning even possible. So the real goal of sophisticated caregiving isn't just about protection. It's about empowering the learner to achieve their own goals. As Gopnik points out, for her grandson, this means watching hours and hours of Paw Patrol. It's not what she wants to do, but it's what he's driven to do. The whole point is to build autonomy, not dependence. And when you finally put all three of these pieces together, what you see is humanity's secret superpower. It's not one single type of smarts, it's this brilliant developmental division of labor. It all works together in this elegant, self-sustaining cycle. You've got the caregiving from the elders, which creates the safe garden. Then you have the exploration of children who discover all the new possibilities inside that garden. And finally, you have the exploitation of adults who take those discoveries and apply them to keep the whole group going. Okay, so that's a really cool story about how humans evolved, right? But why does any of this matter today? Well, it turns out this has huge implications for one of the biggest challenges we're facing right now, artificial intelligence. Right now, the biggest puzzle in AI is what's called the alignment problem. Basically, how do we make sure a super intelligent AI has goals that align with human values? We tend to think of this as a coding problem, but Gopnik suggests we should be thinking of it as a parenting problem, and it's a problem we've been solving for thousands of years. We don't program a child with values. We create a safe, caring environment where they can discover and internalize good values for themselves. And that leads us to this final, really provocative takeaway. If we want to build AI that is truly intelligent, that's flexible, and that's actually aligned with our best interests, maybe we need to stop trying to program a perfect, finished adult from scratch. Instead, we might need to design an AI that starts out like a child, curious, exploratory, and able to learn inside a safe, nurturing environment. We might just have to accept that for any intelligence to truly flourish, well, maybe AIs need mothers, a period of protected exploration, a relationship of care, and the freedom to learn our values, not just execute our commands. Now that is something to think about.